All right, this is we're gonna VOD review game 1 of our series today. Yes, let me stream it in Discord. Okay, so for our series from last Sunday against first the Frontline. Go live. Okay. So the first game, and this is where it ended. So not many notes for the first game. So we're just gonna jump straight into the second game now. So we have, okay, their team comp is Wukong, Amumu, what's it called? Malzahar, Zyra Khan, and we have Quinn, Set, Ziggs, and then Sivir Leona. So we have a lot of, our comp is just kind of better than theirs at all points in the game. They're looking for picks, and they kind of are forced to play early with the Amumu jungle and the Wukong. They're forced to play early, but Quinn can win that top lane matchup, and Set can win the jungle early. So we have a lot of tools to answer them early and get ahead early, and especially with Leona as well. But then we also win in the late game. So really, we just want to play smart here and not give them anything. Because if we go even into the mid game, we win the game. If we go ahead, we really win the game. So yeah, we just want to look to play proactively and find really good picks early if we can, because that'll just springboard us into the late game. And especially with the Quinn, Ziggs, and Set, we can do that pretty easily, especially onto Malzahar before 6. And even after 6 if we can pop his spell shield. But yeah, so let's get started. Alright, oh yeah, we push for vision. First. Oh, also, I remember Leper, I think, is the one who ends up warding. Freddy, as the jungler, you should be the one dropping your ward there. When y'all go in, jungle is the first person. If you all want 2 wards, someone else can drop one. But if you all are going to drop 1 ward, have the jungler do it. That way that the support can look to ward for the 3-minute gank. So yeah, that should have been jungle warding that. But otherwise, good to look for early vision, and good to expect that they're going to look for vision of their own, so walk in S3 into that red buff.
We completely missed where how they knew that this was happening and they still did this.
Yeah, this is tragic. The Rakan messed up real bad. He
He
never makes that flash. I don't know why he was sitting there either, because like he had no support.
If you back it up, he was in the bush. So we walked right by him on our way in.
Oh yeah, I remember that. So they knew.
I did not know that. They knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
And responded with this.
Yeah, the fact that you didn't see anyone there means that they knew that you were doing what you were doing. So it can be expected, especially if you don't see anyone, they're gonna go for counter vision. So yeah.
Remember those 3 were moving as a unit, and us telling them to be prepared for something to occur.
Yeah, I don't know what the Rakan was thinking. I don't know why he W'd in. He literally had no help. Also, he never makes that flash. From where he was standing, he never made it. It's not like he missed it. It's just, it's impossible for him to make it from that position.
Even if he makes the flash too, he's still trapped.
Oh yeah. He's still mega trapped. So like, you just gotta accept that you're dead there.
Yeah.
Like, what he should have done, probably, is like, stayed in that bush as long as he could, and seen if he could, like, flash W away. Like over the Baron pit.
Yeah.
Is probably his best bet.
Into the top bush and back there. I didn't realize they dropped 3 wards in our top jungle. Like, there's no need for that.
Yeah, that's so excessive.
They have no wards across the entire map now.
Yeah. I like 2, right? Like, I like 1 on the red buff and 1 on the Raptors. Or just 1 on the red buff, honestly, even. But he did not do that. Quick, easy 3 camp clear, and you should go meet the Amumu at his red buff and try and fight him there. Your clear is so much better than his. Bot lane should just be a farm fest. Yep. And you find them here. Easy peasy. Squeezy. Easy kill. Get the red buff. Good job getting push out of mid and communicating that. Invade. Yeah, from what I remember, like the early game was really good. It wasn't until we got to mid game where we started to do some sketchy stuff with our macro.
Yes, I would agree with that. We played this game pretty standard for us up until that point. Like, I've watched this lane twice now, and I could have done so much more in terms of like denying them more, and I need to focus on doing that, and that's just games played that I'm not playing right now. It sucks and is great at the same time that B&J is so good at farming comparatively to the rest of the league that we can just kind of sit back and do this. Like, it's nice. It just sucks because, like, I need to do more. I want to do more to make him even better, and I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you just need more lane pressure. Tyler, remember to not put all your stuff on the clone. That's the other thing I remember is we blow so much on the Wukong clone just throughout the game, and it's like, guys, it's really obvious that's the clone. Let's stop doing stuff to the clone, please. This is rune difference. We love Nimbus Cloak. Feels good, man. Good
That looks
invade.
good overall.
Again, good job communicating, because I remember we talked about it before the game, but yeah, good job communicating your invades and getting someone to be ready to rotate to you. Like, the Ziggs was ready to rotate to you on the red buff, and this time you had the Quinn coming to you on the blue buff, so good job. I commend you, sir. This is more laning phase. We already have a CS lead in mid. Good job farming. Y'all are going even bot lane. You both have pretty near perfect. My apologies. I'm tired. Alright, now that you have 4 and you're starting to get points in your W's, when you're going to want to start to look for things. And when you can start to look. Again, you have a Sivir, so you don't have to. Like, that's the one thing is I don't want you to feel like you have to do things and then start inting the lane, because that's what I do. Is I force things that I don't have to and int the lane that way.
I don't feel like I have to do anything. What I mean is more of like, rather than forcing an all-in or going in, just standing and positioning in a manner that makes them less inclined to do something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that we didn't, like, I felt in control of this lane. Do not get me wrong. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to say that I felt that, and I remember B&J remarking, like, it feels like they're playing scared, right?
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like I could do more to try to get him just by positioning or usage of, like, a W, because it's on a 10-second cooldown, and it's not like they can kill me even without the W, you know? That I can do more in terms of where I stand, how I move towards the wave, and so on, that might, like, get them to miss a cannon, or get them to miss 2 creeps here, 2 creeps there, like that
Yeah.
kind of thing. That there's more small, subtle things like that that I can do to get him leads, just based off that, to accelerate the farm difference, so to speak. And I don't mean just forcing things in there, because I fall into that as well. And with him, I feel like I don't need to. So that, but I feel like I can do more. If that.
The thing with that is, though, is that you have to be willing. Like, the whole reason why zoning works is because you have to be willing to take the engage if they don't back off, right? Like, you have to force an engage so they know that you can body them, but for them to know to back off to respect you. Like, you can zone, but if they don't, like, back off of you, you gotta just, you know, go in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because if they don't respect you and you just zone and they don't back off of it and you don't want to go in, then it's like, oh, never mind. I guess I'm just gonna get, you know, they get a free trade onto me because I'm not going in and they're not backing off, so they just get to trade on me with their range. So you have to be willing to go in, though, is the thing.
I mean, have I shown you that I'm not?
I mean, we have had some VOD reviews where you were very hesitant to go in. But yeah, you can't just like not want to go in, but also want to zone. If that makes sense.
Tonight, Freddy. Yes, it does make sense, Otter. It really does. Like, I have 1,000,001 questions for you after the review that don't need to clog the review audio.
Yeah. I mean, while we're just watching, it's fine if you have questions you want to ask.
Basically, a lot of it right now is I don't know where to focus my attention, right? Like, there's a lot that can be said about this game of a couple different areas, right? And I just, knowing me, can only focus on one at a time.
Yeah.
Which is, there's 3 big things that I do in this game. One, I hold my ult, so to speak. Like, that ulting earlier or going for a less quote-unquote optimal or a less perfect ult ends up making more of a difference, right? Like, there's a couple different fights where I end up dying because I hold my ult as long as possible and end up being CC'd or not in range of a good ult, right?
Yeah.
So I can focus on like that and doing this. This is right.
This is the lane swap? Okay.
This is the lane swap.
Yeah, you have to, like, he just stepped up and stopped your back, right? They have a wave coming, you have to back all the way up. And right here especially, right? Like, if you're gonna back, you can't go for this trade, right? Like, Tyler's here to relieve the pressure, you gotta back, bro. Don't try and go in. He's here to relieve the pressure. Just walk under tower and recall. After he stops it the first time, back all the way up. Don't even try to take that back, like, right here. Back all the way up, because you don't want it to be canceled again. And now this messes up Freddy because now he's solo invading, which is his. You should not be solo invading right there. You go 1 for 1, but that's not what we want. We want to be pushing the tempo. We want you to live right there so we can take the Herald. So make sure you're not invading solo. Like, you didn't have a top laner. No one was in top lane. Also, I don't know where you're going, ADC, but you should not be picking up red buff at 10 minutes. You've already lost so much top lane, you can't be wasting time picking up red buff, and that's a team thing, that's not like an ADC thing. Freddy, don't give him red buffs at 10 minutes into the game. My rule is two items. At 2 items, you get red buffs. But otherwise, you want it right now, because you are the early game carry. You are the one pushing the tempo. You want that red buff for invading, for killing this Amumu, for getting the slows when you take ganks, right? That red buff means nothing to him. To him, it's just 100 gold. To you, you can make so much more out of it. So there's a time and a place for him to get red buffs. 10 minutes into the game is neither the time nor the place. Because that is like the second red buff, right? I believe, yeah. Yeah, that was the second red buff. You only got 1 red buff this game. And that's just a mistake in general. Again, putting things onto the clone. It's okay for Leopard to do that there because he's getting out of tower range. Good heal to keep Leopard alive. That could have been played slightly better, but overall, we did a pretty good job of it. But we've just been so slow. Why is the Quinn not bot lane? We switched the Quinn bot lane. We need to keep that Quinn bot lane. Like, you went bot lane, and then you went mid lane, and now you're top now. You never died. You need to be staying bot lane. That's what this lane swap is. It's a lane swap. It's not a 4 or 5 man top lane for the Herald. We're just swapping. So you have to keep that Quinn bot lane so they don't just get 5 plates onto that Xayah there. So now the Xayah has 5 plates. I'm not sure. How did BNJ die?
Died on the Amumu. If you back it up, he died under tower with the Amumu.
Okay.
So like I get out here, right? The Amumu comes up.
Yeah, we need to have this Quinn We can't have 5 people around here at 11 minutes into the game. You're not gonna help take this tower.
B&J gets hooked.
Oh, and you can't take tower aggro there? That's because he took tower aggro?
I don't think he intentionally did it. It just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just like, as soon as you see the Amumu, just walk away. There, you just
Like
gotta walk
that
away.
whole
That was
past
unlucky.
2.5 minutes from 9:25 till now is just basically killed all of our mental.
Yeah, because that just brought the Xayah back into the game. She just split a bunch of plates between 2 people, whereas y'all split it between like 4 in top lane. 3 or 4.
We still have a 2.5K gold lead, but it just feels so wrong. Like we feel way worse than we did before.
You made an unnecessary trade. You didn't need to trade at all. Okay, so you swap back now. The Quinn should be going top lane. Here. And this is just actually so bad. They could have killed you, but their Rakan is bad. His ult was terrible. Also, they double ignited. So that's a huge win for y'all because he still have health. He doesn't have much mana, so he's not too much use. Okay, that should be a dead Rakan right here. Alright. And right there... Yeah, okay. I want to watch that fight back. The main problem was y'all didn't have damage there. Like if we watch it, I'm going to watch this back in half speed now. Just so we can watch exactly what happens in the fight. Okay. So the Rakan's super caught, right? So you're going to loop around behind here. So they just blew a lot. So yeah, y'all want to look to pick. You have your Quinn in the area. The Wukong is not in the area. So y'all want to just go for something now while you have the numbers advantage. Sivir's coming up a little late to this. Just go on this Rakan here. So pop your W. Yep, stun. This is Wukong TP coming in. Sivir's coming in late. Oh my god, that was actually so good for the Xayah. She said so many blade callers. You just need to throw that ult onto Xayah to stop her damage. There, I believe. And this sucks because...
Also, like, if you back it up too, like, I could have queued the Amumu like 16 times, and instead I just hold off all of it to go for the Rakan.
I think it's fine to walk up to the... Or maybe you Q the Mumu and E to the Rakan. I think that's the better option there. And now you need to, like, just drop your ult onto the Xayah, because she's just doing so much damage throwing blades through all of you. And yeah, the Wukong TP. It was just like, yeah, we didn't have our Sivir there. And the Wukong got there. That was just a really bad place to fight. Like, we have the tempo. We don't want to fight there, right? Make them come into us with no ultimates. Make them come into us blind. Like, the idea is there, but as soon as we don't pop the Rakan, we just need to back out. So, like, if you Q the Amumu and E the Rakan and walk away, and, like, as they're coming to walk through this choke point to chase you, if you then drop the ultimate, like, right here, right? And then you guys fight back. Also, yeah, if you're looking for that play, you need the Sivir to come sooner as well, because the Sivir is your biggest damage dealer, especially with the Ziggs not having any mana. The Quinn can do damage, but it's not going to be as much. Especially when the Wukong TP comes through and he's just on her. Make sure we're getting wards out early. You only have 2 vision score, Mr. Leper, which means that you probably only dropped 1 ward besides that ward at level 1.
One of the other things that I was talking about of what do I want to focus on, and that one is just being conscious and actively focusing on always getting the fast, because there's so many opportunities and so many times throughout this game where I'm just holding onto wards and I'm not doing anything with them, because it's like, it's not safe for me to quote unquote go to my optimal places, right? But I'm not even dropping band-aids. I'm not even dropping anything, because I'm trying to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. So that's one of the things is it's like I can focus on using resources in team fights. I can focus on better warding presence, right? Or I can focus on my being more dominant in lane, right? Like I
Yeah.
can't do all three at once. Those are the three things that I've identified that I need to do. Is less hoarding, quote unquote, of my abilities, less hoarding of my wards, and being more lane dominant. I just don't know which order I need to do things in.
Right here. Ultimate.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have their damage dealers here. Y'all clearly want this fight. Like, you've decided you want this fight. Wukong already used his, I think it's his W. That's like his invis and vulnerable. But like, y'all have the Ziggs right behind you. If you ult here, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. If you ult right here, Ziggs ults right on top of it. He gets boomerangs in. BNJ does. Freddy walks up and gets a face breaker. Like, that is a perfect ult right there. You definitely didn't need the flash stun there. He was already like caught out. But instead, this becomes a really sloppy fight. That was a really bad ultimate as well. Don't try to ult the Rakan. He's too slippery. Also, after he's gotten, like after the Rakan has gotten his ult off and his W off, there's not really a point to, right? Like he's not going to have any more impact in the fight. So like look to ult the person, someone who's still going to have a lot of impact in the fight. So like once the Amumu uses ultimate here, he's not going to have impact in the fight. So don't ult him, right? Once the Rakan uses ult, don't ult him. So, but like you can still look to ult like the Malzahar or the Wukong, who's going to be dancing around here, or the Xayah is definitely going to be mine. Yeah, there was a couple opportunities still that you could have looked to ult right in this choke, but we're ahead, so we still win the fight. Barely, but we still win it. That's really sad. The Malzahar walked away so low. Very little HP. Yeah, right now this Xayah is absolutely huge. You got really lucky he didn't steal that, by the way. So we go for another fight. We get him. That's good.
Yeah, how he did not take that.
Yeah, me neither. Alright, so it was really good that we got that, though. And the follow-up kill on him. And, okay, Quinn better not die here. Okay, Quinn's good. Okay. So what do we want to be doing right now? Right now, so that's going to clear mid lane. They say 3 mid. We should be able to hold on this tower here. So we're just going to go for bot tower trade. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you guys want to take that tower right there. That's huge. Y'all can burst through that. Like, you still saw 3 of them mid, and Wukong was top, who's going to answer you the Amumu. And as we see, you know, with vision of the entire map, the Amumu was back at his Inim tower. So y'all could have finished this tower off, most likely, with your demol. I think you have demolish, maybe you don't, but with your Q auto resets and Sivir auto reset plus just attack speed steroid, you could have taken that tower for free, just off of their bad macro play. But now we're looking for mid tower here, which we should be able to get because we have a Ziggs. So this should be free, and then we should look into Herald as well, which means that we want to move this Quinn into the bot side right now. So after that wave, the Quinn should either run bot or it should back and go bot. Because I think now we're just going to 5-man the Herald, which we do not need to do, especially after we see the Xayah bot lane. We most definitely don't need 5 people here. They shouldn't look for a fight, and even if they do, they lose the 4v4 with the Quinn bot lane. So sadly for us, they're able to trade the Herald, but a potential tower for bot lane and an actual tower. And you always want the actual over the potential here. So just send the Quinn bot lane. We don't need the Quinn to help take the Herald. We don't even need more than 2 people taking the Herald. We had 4 of them doing it, and then the Leona zoning. So I think we get this with Zig's thing. Ziggs should walk up and just take this, but so like it ends up being a good trade for us, but the thing is we don't need to trade is more my thing, right? Yeah, like we don't need to be taking trades is the problem. So this should be a good fight for us because Malzahar just ulted forward. You don't want to ult the Malzahar there because you just left your bot lane to die. You can't be going this deep. We need, especially like for the Malzahar who is already 200 health, right? Like he's just gonna die from residual damage. So what we want to be doing, ideally, is we want to be set ulting the Wukong away from our backline here. Because that's their win condition, right? Like, now we're in the lead. We've established we're in the lead. We have a 4K gold lead. So now we want to start thinking about how do they win the game? How do they win team fights? They win team fights by the Wukong disrupting our backline and the Xayah free hitting and the Malzahar getting space aids off, right? So the way that we counter that is just by ulting the Wukong out of our backline. Like he dashes forward, we just ult him away, right? And that brings his ult away from our backline. You're unstoppable, so we can't like ult you out of your ult. And that puts some pressure onto their backline as well. So we've just completely turned the tables where our Ziggs and our Sivir are the ones who get the free hit, and they're the ones who have to deal with stuff in their backline because they no longer have a way to get to ours with the Wukong set ulted away. So if we just set ult the Wukong away and drop the Leona ult right on top of it, there's absolutely nothing he can do. And we just win the fight, and the Wukong's just useless. Like, as soon as we do that, we just start focusing other people, because the Wukong can no longer do anything. Alright. So here, we want to make... this Ziggs should be coming bot lane. You guys should... if I remember, you get a good pick here. I would be careful about blowing your flash because just like we talked about, their win condition is getting the Wukong onto our backline. So you definitely want to save your flash for, again, this right here. We don't want to be looking for this fight because we know we at most have 3 people and we can expect that they're going to have 4 people over here. So we don't want to take this fight in any circumstances. We have the Quinn on the way, right? So if we just wait for the Quinn to come over here, then we have a 4v4 where we're up gold. So that, just like the idea of taking that fight was really bad. Also, we didn't get the set ultimate off as well. So like a fight that the Wukong's not in, we probably just want to set ult the Rakan or the Amumu away. Probably just the Amumu. And that's how we just like do the fight. Like set ult onto Leona ultimate. And we just completely take someone out of the fight and the residual slows onto whoever it hits, and if we're lucky the stun onto someone else as well with the Leona ultimate just guarantees the fight win for us. Right, like there's nothing they can do about that. If the Rakan goes in by himself, it's like, cool, you got a charm. No one's following up on it because they're getting set Leona ulted, right? So you just have to run away with your tail between your legs, and we clean up the the backside of the fight. Oh, we lost Freddy. I don't know.
We lost Freddy a minute ago.
Yeah, I wasn't sure when. But does that make sense, at least, Leper, how we want to be looking to play out the fights?
Yes, it does. It does.
Okay.
And it makes sense. We took a lot that we didn't need to take because we're not used to that. We just we're used to forcing in that situation where like
Yeah.
we know that the Wukong's not there, so obviously we can fight. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of the thought process that we have.
Yeah. And like
we're not-
the thought process is there, like the Wukong isn't there, so we can fight, but we can't fight when we only have 3 there ourselves.
Right.
And there was a problem there with that as well. The Ziggs was still pushing top lane. The Ziggs doesn't have TP in this game, so like we can't have him splitting there. We really needed to have the Quinn stay there. Yeah, just like our lane assignments were really poor.
Yeah, we constantly had Quinn and Sivir in the same place.
Yeah, we want this
The
Quinn.
Ziggs
That's
are
the
the ones
power of the
splitting?
Quinn. That's the power of the Quinn, is that like you can be wherever, especially the TP Quinn, is that you can really be wherever. So we don't want you with the team. We want you pushing top lane because you can instantly get mid lane whenever you want to. So yeah, this
Times where like
should,
Ziggs was off splitting and Quinn was with the team and it just felt bad.
yeah, we never want that lane assignment. Like it's okay if we have the Ziggs with TP, which is an option here. We went with barrier instead, which is understandable as well. Like the three things I would have chosen between would have been barrier, um, exhaust, and teleport. I think all of them would have been perfectly viable in this game. We went with the barrier, so we don't have that option to have the Zig split. So we really need to be making sure that it is the Quinn splitting. I think we could have looked to force the agenda there because we would have seen them approaching a little heavier. So we could have tried to do that if we wanted to, but not necessary. Quinn has a lot of money in her pocket. That's good that we get the 2-item spike on the Quinn here. I'm guessing that the set will finish an item here as well. Not sure if he's going Rando in second or Thornmail. Okay, he did go Thornmail. The server should be getting close to another component here. You should be, yeah, no, you're still a ways away from your second item. How's mid lane looking? So okay. This game, I would not have grabbed that needlessly large rod. I would have just gone for a Seeker's Arm Guard here, because again, we want to look at how do they win, and that is through Wukong and mainly just Wukong, or Wukong and a Mumu. And the Hourglass, the full Hourglass, is going to help you out a lot, as well as just the armor in general. Like you're going to love the armor against the Xayah and the Wukong. So I can understand grabbing the Oblivion Orb, but the needlessly large rod I would not recommend. I would just go the Hourglass in this game. This is really good. Questionable macro to have the duo lane bot here. Again, we would want, like, I think the Quinn could also do this and have the Quinn bot lane and the duo lane pushing out top, and we would still force the Wukong TP out, and then the Quinn can ult her way over to Baron, and we have the duo lane pushing top lane, so they can just walk over, and we can do the Baron right here, instead of just pushing lanes. Like, pushing lanes is nice, but also, we really want to put the nail in the coffin. Like, we have so much momentum on them right now, that now we really want to start looking for Baron. So, I'm not sure if we shouldn't grab any inhibs. We should back off. We should just grab all of the inhib towers here. And then we should reset for Dragon. It's a very late reset for Dragon, but we have a lot of money in our pockets, so it is very greedy if we stay out on the map here. Because if I'm them, I'm looking for a pick into Dragon. And yeah, they're picking for it. Yep. And so they get the pick, and then they should get this Dragon as well here subsequently. Yeah. It's a good job. We peeled the Wukong well. The set thankfully gets out. But yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, we're sitting on, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 gold. Our gold lead is 8,500. So they have a gold lead right now. Or they don't, because they are sitting on gold themselves. But it's basically even. This fight is an even fight, but they're the ones running at us, right? Like, we're the ones overextended. So they're always going to win it. We just have to make sure we're backing and we're not overexerting ourselves. Like, as soon as we grabbed all 3 inhib towers, we should have backed off. Like, we never should have had that rotate where, like, the Ziggs and the set kind of rotated over this. The Quinn should have just finished it off herself and y'all backed up. Then there's this weird everyone rotated onto mid lane to try and get that inhib, and that's where it all started. We should never have even tried to look at that. We still have a lot of gold on us, by the way. We should have just backed off and reset. It would have been a late reset, but it still would have been a reset, and we would have gotten there to fight for the dragon. Because like they might have set up a little earlier, but we had so much gold in our pockets that it wouldn't have mattered if they had the early setup. Because we can just run into them. Just have the set ult out the Wukong. And that solves all of our problems. So now Leopard is caught putting out vision. Sivir is now sitting on 3,000 gold. We're up to 3k gold on the Sivir here. And they should just get this dragon for free now. And it's just because we've been on the map for so long. One of the best ways to push the tempo is like to actually back to recall. Like staying out on the map doesn't necessarily mean keeping up the tempo, right? It's like backing and resetting is one of the best ways to like keep up our motions, like our movements around the map. Yeah, you can't vault off of him. He charms you with the contact. And I don't like the play of just having the Quinn like int for inhibs, I guess. Like it's fine to look for that inhib there since we're giving up the dragon, but I would have looked for the mid inhib because it was already, like y'all had already gotten a good chunk on that mid inhib. So while they're doing the dragon, just ult in and trade the dragon for mid inhib. And then you all really want to be looking for this Baron here if you can. So we're huge now. We have 3-item 80 carry. We have the Morello finish. Again, I would not have finished the Morello here. They really don't have that much healing. The only healing they have is Xayah from like Legend Bloodline if she has it. And maybe the Wukong has some lifesteal from Bork. But that's really about it. We don't, and I guess Rakan Qs. That's not what we want though. We don't want the Morello here, just in terms of itemization. That Hourglass is going to help you so much to survive that Wukong dive. And then after we go through this, I'll back up and look at this team fight a little closer. But yeah, just in terms of itemizations on the Ziggs, I would not have gone for that needlessly large rod. Instead, I would have just gone for the thing, what's it called? The Oblivion Orb, and then into the Hourglass finish. But yeah. Okay, so it ended up a 3 for 3, but we're up so much gold that we should never be doing. Right? Like we don't want even trades right now. Okay, let's take a look at this fight here. Okay, so we're clearing out vision. Okay, what happens here? We have to be a little more decisive. We started up really late. Jack is taking a lot of damage. As soon as we see them here, we should call the pull, right? So we should just turn straight onto this Rakan here, and we want to be wary of the flank as well, because us fighting this way leaves us really open to a flank, so we just got to be careful of that. So we either got to fight fast in at them, or we got to fight backwards up the river, kind of, and like hold them in this choke, but like swing the positioning out so our carries go towards this wall here, so they can't get flanked from below. Because we know there's no TP coming up from above, and if we have TP's times, we know that he doesn't have the teleport on the Wukong. So we just kind of want to like shift, so we're fighting, so we're kind of like vertically stacked here. That's just kind of how we want to fight it out, and that eliminates the chance for the Wukong flank that I know is eventually going to come in here from watching this fight a couple times now, between watching it live and just watching it now. But so as soon as we see them coming in, this isn't anywhere near close enough to burn. Like if this was at like 2k or 3k, if it's above 3k, we have to turn off of it right now because they're hard committing to come on in to us. So let's slow this down. Perfect Leona ultimate right here. Just throw this in. You get the Rakan and the Xayah, and you zone out the Amumu. Good job bursting him. Now we see this. We need to call this out, and yeah, we just get absolutely destroyed by the what's it called? the Amumu ult really fucks the Sivir here. Because she can't escape from the Wukong at all. And so then we just get a really late ultimate here. But yeah, we want to be proactive with our ultimates on Leona rather than defensive, if we can. Okay, back this up once more here. And we can't let the Xayah free hit is the other thing. Like, fighting backwards is absolutely perfect for us because Xayah is terrible at fighting forwards. Just with her her feather mechanics here. So she gets a lot of feathers down, which is huge. And it sucks that you're already chunked out. This is really good at Mumu ultimate. And it really sucks that Jack was already chunked out from the Baron. I can understand going on the Xayah here, but like, as soon as you've kind of zoned her out, our biggest problem really is that Wukong. She's already gotten like her ult off and a feather pull. She doesn't have as long as she's running back this way, she doesn't have too much threat onto our back line, and we win the fight as long as our back stays alive. So that's kind of what I see from that fight here. This sucks, you barely die to the Rakan there. You end up pulling flash, but yeah. 3 for 3, but a very ugly one, and one we don't want to be taking. So again, for objectives, just like in general, we always want, if we can, look to turn and take, like, fight them. Rather, like, take a fight on our terms, rather than continuing to do the objective and let them get a fight on their terms. And like taking a fight on our terms doesn't always mean, you know, being the ones diving on them and stuff, right? Like diving their backline. It just means we take it when we're ready for it, right? We're the ones initiating it. So we could have just, yeah, we probably just turn with like a Leona ultimate there and just like fight back up the river, I believe, is our best bet. Like we pop the Malzahar and then fight back up the river. And either we have to either set ult the Amumu out before he gets his ult off, or set ult the Wukong. There. Alright, let's see here. We have Dragon in a minute and a half. The gold lead is down to 6k now. Glad we're walking in all together. Oh, this should be kills. They just wasted that on the Leona here. Our carries have to really be careful. You do not step up into the Raptor pit there. Like, you're just waiting. Oh, he DC'd. Okay. Okay. Because, yeah, like, that's just doomed. You're just asking to get hit by everything there. Okay. So we trade the inhib here. We get Mr. Benjay back as well. Again, we really should be looking for, like, we should have gotten the Baron probably like 6 minutes ago already. And now it's back to 4k gold lead. We just want to make sure we're taking fights on our terms and we're playing around their win condition. And letting the Sivir free hit. That's the biggest thing, is we really want the Sivir to be free hitting. She can't have pressure on her, otherwise we lose fights. And that's going to be both a combination of the Sivir's positioning as well as how our peel/engage plays the fights, our tank's positioning. But also, ideally, with a Quinn, we want to develop a split push as well. That's the other thing, is we're going to get, like, yes, we want fights on our terms, but we can't just magically find them. What we have to do is we have to have the Quinn get the split push set up for us. This is very int of him. Nice job. Good pick on him. Now run straight to the Baron and start it up immediately. Y'all blue, no ultimates, so you have all of your ultimates to kill him. Kill them as they come in for a 4v5. So you should just start the Baron immediately. Like run and start the Baron immediately and turn the fight to them when they come in. But yeah, this should have been a free Baron. We didn't even clear out the vision in the back of the Baron pit. There's a blue still in there, so they had no threat of us doing it, so we really get nothing off of that kill. Like, we steal a couple of their camps. I think we steal their wolves and their blue buff, which is good and all, but we could have gotten so much more for it. Ah, I see the Quinn going mid lane, which makes me sad. Because we really, especially with the Quinn, like Quinn isn't a team fighter. She's all about playing the map and just winning on the map, so. Okay, good, we are splitting up the split. So yeah. Now we just want to force the waves while they're answering top lane. We see them apparently all answering top lane, so Quinn can just grab that bot wave and we can push him bot mid here. They still have a blue in the back of the Baron pit. We really need to make sure we're getting in there and clearing that out. We want to make sure they don't have any vision whatsoever. So if we want to, we can just duck back into the vision and they have to be scared of us doing it. But right now, they're chilling, just farming, because they know we're not doing the Baron. They have zero threat of us doing the Baron because they see it. Quinn should be split, setting up the split here. We see them all mid. We just want to be disengaging this here. So like just throw the ult onto them to just disengage it. The Quinn should not come here. Like we get a kill and we kind of, again, burning a lot on the clone. That's very obviously the clone. He's not inting. Okay. So it works out there, but I think we can do that regardless with just Sivir ulting and then dropping a Leon ult. Like, we at least get flashes out that way, and we should get triple inhib. Like, we can run it down, stop them their backs, make them run all the way back into the base, and we can take mid inhib, and Quinn's already pushing up for bot inhib there. So we just really need to play around the 1-4 a lot better when that's what our comp is. So I definitely want to run Quinn again in our next scrim, because I want to run the Quinn, and if it doesn't go the way we want perfectly, I don't think the answer is to shy away from it. I think the answer is to look at what we did wrong and learn from it and try again. So I want to run the Quinn again, if that's okay with you, Leper.
Your team. I don't mean that in like a thing. Like you.
Yeah.
You were in charge.
Yeah, I got you. But yeah, so I want to run the Quinn again.
I mean,
Soon.
I'd
TM.
like to practice it more. It just would probably mean a scrim with you subbing in for me, cause work.
Yeah, which is okay, because then I can also teach us macro that way, right? Like live in game, and like instead of me talking at you guys through a YouTube recording, I can be there as kind of trying to help there that way. So this is good. We're really fighting back. We just this is the right play. We have to just leave the. Oh no, we played it so well for a hot minute there. So like, if the Leona goes in there, we played that so well. We fought backwards so well. Like, look at how low they are now. But if you just keep running backwards with the team instead of going in to try to finish off a kill onto the Rakan, you're trading a jungler for the support when the dragon is spawning. We never want to do that. So instead, the Quinn is the one who ends up dying as well, so they get a free 2 kills. But if we just keep fighting backwards there, we win that fight handily. And if nothing else, maybe they win in kills, like they get 1 kill, but we're up so much HP, right? Because we have a full health Sivir, a full health Ziggs, and a full health Set. So we can do the dragon then. So that's still a win, because that's a dragon soul for us. Again, using the Facebreaker on the clone. Yeah, you should be able to chase him down here. Oh, the cancelled autos. The clone again. It's okay though. We end up making a trade. And we should be able to run it in and get at least double inhib here. You'll either be able to get mid or bot depending on where they decide to answer. Good chance you actually get all 3 because we still have Baron for another 15 seconds. So we can get all 3 inhibs here. The Wukong's caught. Okay, we don't want to go. Okay, so now we want to back immediately. We aren't going to threaten to end right here. We have the triple inhib, so let's just back and spend our gold. Back immediately. We don't need to stay around for that like last wave in mid lane or whatever. It's better to just get the reset out of the way now. Like I said, resetting early and resetting often is the best way to keep the tempo up. So, especially on support, like I'm sorry, sir, but your vision score is abysmal. It's 44, it's 47 in a 40-minute game. Both supports are pretty bad. Like you should be closing in on like 120 right now. At least closing in on triple digits. And that's just from not resetting and not dropping wards. Like just dropping wards often, like honestly, I just want you to every 60 seconds past the laning phase, like once we get to the mid game, like from like 20 minutes onwards, I want you resetting at least every 120 seconds. And I don't want you to reset if you have wards in your inventory. You can have 1 remaining. I want you to drop 3 new wards every time you base. Because those wards last, at base, they last 90 seconds, but it scales with levels. So right now, your wards last... Stealth ward, how... Is this one of yours? I think. 150 seconds, so yeah, 2.5 minutes or so. 150, 150, yeah. Yep, so they last 150 seconds. That's 2.5 minutes. So every 2 minutes, reset for new wards. Just to guarantee that you always have 3 on the map if they don't clear them. So every, and what's the cooldown on this? 64 seconds. Yeah, so I just want you to use your sweeper every 2 minutes and drop 3 new wards at least every 2 minutes and then reset. Ideally, you'd sweep more often than that, but yeah. And that's going to help your vision score. Alright, we got the Baron spawning in 30 seconds. BNJ's backing to spend his gold here. I don't think he finishes Merc Sim, but he should pick up a potion because this is a huge fight. Oh, he sells. Does he sell boots? Yeah, he sells boots. I don't know about that one. I would just buy a potion here because this is going to be a very big fight that should decide the game. Is this Baron fight and then subsequent Earth Dragon fight for soul. Double soul fight. So you sell that for a Last Whisper. Yeah, I would just get the potion. Just get the Elixir of Wrath here. Because those boots are going to help you kite out a lot, especially when you have the dive threat on you. I would rather sell the QSS for Last Whisper than I would the boots for Last Whisper here. Again, like a lot of these like itemization things are smaller things that don't have as great an impact on the outcome of the game. I'm just like pointing out every little thing I see. Like I don't want you to like stress about every little detail that I mention. So they're stuck in base, so they should be free Baron and free Soul for us. And then we should just be looking to 4-1. And probably, I would say, put the 4 on the side lane, because, and this is the beauty of having Quinn, the Quinn can get both of the mid lane and this one of the side lanes. So yeah, I would grab this Soul here, and then, honestly, with the Quinn having TP right now, you could just have the Quinn go top right now anyways, and just take the Soul on spawn, and have the Quinn be threatening to push stuff onto Nexus Towers, and end the game if they try and go for this. And the biggest thing about the split push is the 4 has to back up. If they're giving, right, like if they decide they want to contest the 4 has to back up. And let the 1 establish. So we're lucky here that we get this, but like I said, like I don't think they were gonna get this anyways. So we could have had the Quinn top lane to begin with. Just baroning up all these minions in the base. And then they're forced into really, like they never, if the Quinn's top lane there, they never win the game because they're forced into an impossible decision. It's like, do we give over Earth Soul, or do we let the Quinn just push double super minions with Baron into our Nexus Towers? It works out anyways because they don't end up finding a fight at the dragon. But in theory, they could have here. They could have looked for a fight at the Soul. And if they won it convincingly enough, they could have backed and still saved the game. But, yeah. I feel like there was one more. Actually, no, I don't need to review this fight. This is a pretty close case fight, just because we're so far ahead. Or we're not so far ahead, but we have the better comp at this point. And we have minions, an overwhelming amount of minions, and we have Soul. But yeah, the biggest thing is like, this could have, yeah, and this is exactly what we wanted to do here. The Sivir did get a little cut out here, but it's okay, you had GA, but we just want to be fighting back. Like, notice, Jack, you were just free hitting that entire fight, and that's exactly what we've wanted the entire game, is to just have our backline free hitting as we fight backwards and peel off the Wukong. And the easiest way to peel off the Wukong is to set out the Wukong onto their backline. But yeah. So this game definitely should have ended around 30 minutes. We should have been able to get like a 25-minute dragon, and just like absolutely starve them out, because at that point we had like an 8k gold lead or something like that, and the Baron would have just put it up into over 10k insurmountable lead. And then we also had another opportunity to take Baron around 30 minutes, but yeah. And the biggest thing that I saw this game was just our overall lane assignment in general. Like our just lane assignment across the entire game, whether it was usually the Quinn and someone. So either it was the Quinn and the Ziggs or the Quinn and the Sivir was just like wrong. Like we should have had them switched, or we shouldn't have had them in the same place. And that was kind of like the overarching theme that I saw. Also, we just want to make sure that we're thinking about their win condition. Like, this is the biggest thing of all. Like, I've said a lot of things so far in this mod review, and they all have, like, varying levels of impact on the outcome of the game. This is the biggest one. This is the biggest thing that will impact us winning and losing games, and just kind of our tempo in games in general, is thinking about their win condition. We really need to be like analyzing in game, how do they win? And the way that they win is by finding, like in this game particularly, it was them, Wukong being their only real champion in this game at that point in time, like around like 20 to 30 minutes. He was the only one who was doing anything. Xayah could if she got a bunch of feathers down and got like a 10 feather pull or something like that. But it was really just keeping the Wukong off of our backline, because the Wukong one-shotting our backline or pressuring their backline so they couldn't be a part of the fight is the only way that they won team fights. So we just need to be thinking about that, analyzing it, and coming up with a plan before we get into team fights and talk about that plan so everyone's on the same page of just how are we going to counter their win condition. And the way we do that is by pulling the Wukong away from fights by having the Quinn split push and having the Wukong have to answer. Because if the Wukong isn't the one answering, I'm pretty sure the Quinn just kills whoever it is answering. And the other way is just by using that set ultimate onto the Wukong, just not letting him be a part of it, which is really daunting to think about just because of, right, like he can just go invis, but ideally if he doesn't, like, or not ideally, but like from his point of view, the only way he should actually be able to get in is by starting with that invis, so that shouldn't actually be a problem that we run into, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, so we just really, this is the biggest thing, is thinking about how they win and playing around their win condition when we are ahead. That is going to be our biggest friend, our biggest like benefactor when we're trying to close out games. That's going to make games the easiest for us to close out. And then the next biggest thing beyond that is resetting often on everyone. Not just like I talked about Leper doing it for wards, but everyone should be resetting often. And remember to not stay out too long. Like that fight in mid lane that got them another dragon. That's the other thing. They stacked a lot of dragons that they should have never gotten, and it was because we were too greedy with our plays on the map. So just be thinking about the gold in your pockets and thinking about how that impacts the fights, because right, like they had multiple fights where it was essentially even though we had a gold lead on the board. And that's because we were sitting on gold. So we just want to be resetting more often and spending that gold. And it's okay if like you're backing and just grabbing, like, even if, oh, that's the other thing, is if everyone backs together as well, like right before some type of objective, it really helps the tempo, everyone being together and coming out of base together. So like even if like we're like, okay, 90 seconds before dragon, right? 90 seconds before dragon spawns. We've already pushed out the waves. You only have like 600 gold, right? But there's no waves to push. Just back. I don't care that like you're not going to buy anything. Maybe you can buy a pink or something, like drop your pink anywhere and then just buy a pink or something. But just the fact, like the act of resetting and coming out together and being grouped together is really going to help out a lot, especially like in that scenario where we already have waves pushed. Like I can understand like earlier on in the game or something where towers haven't started to fall yet, if it's like, okay, I don't need a back, I'm gonna stay and catch this mid wave at the tower and get the push in mid lane for this dragon while everyone else backs, that's okay. But like, especially once we get later on to the game, and especially like right after Barons and stuff as well, it wasn't really a problem in this game, but like everyone resetting together is gonna be monumental for us, and because that's just gonna also help us spend our gold, which I know is just across the board a problem that we've run into in the past, is sitting on a lot of gold and staying out on the map for a very long time. Does all of that make sense, Mr. Leper? Yeah. So resetting more and thinking about our opponent's win condition. Those are the two big things that I want us to like think about and start to play around and like improve our play on coming into like the next week. Those are the two big things. Obviously, all the other things I talked about as well, the little other things that don't impact the game as much as those two, but those are the two big ones. So yeah, I will be taking questions now, Leper, if you have any questions.
May I go to sleep? It is Leper's bedtime.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I kept you late.
It's all good.
Okay, but yes. Alrighty, and I will cut it off there. Good night, everyone.